Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Liebherr 2019 ITTF World Championships, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, and this is the look at the rest of today. We're coming up with the women's singles final with two very excited and determined guests here. Joining me in the commentary booth, seven-time English national champion. It is Jill Parker. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Adam, and I'm looking forward to this final today against these fantastic players from China.
Indeed. Here's a look at the city. The Danube River is beautiful throughout the year, whether it's covered in ice or it looks as dreamy as it does right now. Don't know if that's live. That'd be cool if someone waved back to me from the car down there. Either way, a spectacular city, from the spas around, all the different looks of things to do, the Budapest Eye, the castles, the mountains, and the river, of course. But now the focus on someone who's looking to get her revenge, to deal with the demons of the 2015 women's singles final in Suzhou. It is 28-year-old world rank number 5, Liu Shiwen. She's been playing some incredible table tennis after that 11-0 victory over Ding Ning that was quite talked about. I don't know if you saw the interview, Jill, but she said, you know what? I feel that it's respectful to play for every point, and that's what I had to do. That's what I did. I wasn't thinking about mercy or anything else. I was just playing every point to the best of my ability.
No, I did see that interview, and I totally agree with her. You know, she's got to have respect for her opponent, but then you want, as a player, you want to go on and give it 100%.
And now her opponent, who will be giving exactly that. It is world rank number 3, 25-year-old Chen Meng. Chen Meng is so strong, so adaptable. She's from the second generation of the Chinese women's national team. Her and Zhu Yuling not able to compete here, despite being world number 2, was not one of the 5 players selected to represent China. So this will be a first women's singles final for Chen Meng, and neither of these players have ever taken the title, but for Liu Shiwen, she might never have a better opportunity. This tournament comes up every 2 years. I mean, Jill, she really needs to take advantage of this opportunity.
Well, certainly. I mean, she's lost in 2013 and 2015, and I always think she's not won a big tournament like the Olympics and the World, but she's, you know, one of the best players in the world. I mean, Ding Ning, you know, she's Olympic champion, ex-world champion, who she beat in the semi, so you never know, but she's got a great opponent.
Yeah, it's always interesting for me to see. You know, there was a time where Liu Shiwen felt quite dominant when she was world number 1, and I felt like she was strong over Ding Ning in their head-to-head at the time. But then things turned around. Ding Ning becomes a bit more adaptable, closer to the table. Her service game is very strong. She just covered so well, but Liu Shiwen has always had one of the fastest, most efficient games I've ever seen. I used to say that she has no middle, so good luck finding it. Here's a little look at the road to the final. 4-2 victory for Liu Shiwen over Ding Ning, and 4-0 over Wang Manyu. Now, Wang Manyu is the one player with the best record against Ding Ning of anybody in the world. She's 3-0 against Ding Ning. Ding Ning was my pick to win this. It would have been her 3rd time in a row, her 4th time taking the title. She's the defending champion, but I was afraid that I would be proved wrong because Wang Manyu would face her, but it was Liu Shiwen who did the deed, and Chen Meng on the other side. So quite an interesting one here. Jill, tell me about their head-to-head.
Well, they've played 9 times, and it's 7-2 to Chun, and she's won the last 6 times. So, and the latest was in Korea and Australia in 2018, but she also won the Asian Championships in 2017.
So Chen Meng's only losses to Liu Shiwen were back in 2012 and 2013. That's a long time for 2 players that you would imagine meet up quite often. The 4th seed here, 2017, semi-finalist 2015, the runner-up. Now, in terms of World Cups, Liu Shiwen has quite a lot of World Cup titles. I think that's her tournament. That's where she succeeds. Here, only dropping 3 games total, 1 to Miyu Kato, 2 to Ding Ning. But taking down Hanka, that's Hanna Matalova, Britt Erlin, Kim Song-yi as well. We saw the Korea DPR flag, but on Chen Meng's side, have a chance to see some of her career highlights, or at least how she got here as well. She's very strong, very efficient. World Tour Grand Finals champion 2 years running. So defending that title this year again at the end of the year, hopefully. Asian Cup runner-up, 10-time World Tour champion. So 10 titles to her name. Lin Ye from Singapore, Sutasini Soetabut, Feng Tianwei, Du Hoi Kem, and Wang Man Yu. Not a bad collection of names to have defeated along the way. Chun Meng injured herself, Asian Championships final 2015 against Zhu Yuling, as we introduced Mohammed El Raudi from Egypt, our umpire. And after that, Chun Meng came back stronger than I had ever seen. Really, just the exercises she did made her so physically fit. And I can tell you, just like Fan Zhendong, as we introduce Imre Bencik from Hungary, our assistant umpire, when you bump into somebody physically, you have a chance to feel how solid they are. I've bumped into Fan Zhendong sort of out in a social situation, which was a good time, everyone was having fun, but I bumped into him. He is solid like a rock. Now, Chun Meng and I, when we were making our Ask a Pro Anything, did a little hip bump during our dance routine. She is solid like a rock. I mean, she is very strong and she's quite efficient. She's very adaptable. The quicker the two players for me is Liu Shiwen, but Chun Meng with a very strong record here. This could be an amazing title for her to create history and take her first title, Jill.
Well, yeah, they've got two players who've never won it before, so it's a new world champion. The result of this match.
So we start off the best of 7, Liu Shiwen with the serve. Just missing the corner by a bit, that bending backhand. Liu Shiwen very strong in the first attack, and this is what she's gonna have to expect, that the ball will come back into play quite often from Chun Meng.
Well, that was a good rally to start off the match. If it's going to continue like that, we've got exciting times ahead.
Yeah, I think we're going to see even better throughout. Again, Liu Shiwen playing one of the most amazing matches in modern history against Zhu Yuling, the Women's World Cup final in Canada 2 years ago. And I think Chun Meng, much like Zhu Yuling, is up for these fast, long exchanges, so we're going to have some spectacular play here.
Love to
So first point now for Chun Meng after Liu Shiwen played well on the serve. So Jill, you've watched a lot of table tennis over the years, having been, what, a medalist. I love that you forgot that you won a medal at the World Championships. That's pretty amazing.
Well, not quite. I forgot. It was sort of in my distant memory. But I can still remember being on the rostrum. That's a special moment.
So for Chun Meng, while this is an amazing opportunity, she's likely to have others in her future. For Liu Shiwen, I don't think this is, it might be the last chance.
1, 2.
And it's sad to say it that way, and it's possible in 2 years we'll see her here again, still competitive with the world's best. Still one of the world's best. Tight underspin serve there on the pendulum. Jill, were you thinking about table tennis last night while you were sleeping?
Not while I was sleeping, no.
No dreams about table tennis?
No, no.
Okay.
I think it was such a busy day watching table tennis that I needed my beauty sleep.
Well, it seems that you got more than enough of it. You might want to back up on the, just back off a little on the beauty sleep, Jill. Make it comfortable for us to work with you.
You are a flatterer.
Speaking of eyelashes, no, we're good, we're good. 2 serving 3 now, quite a run. Chun Meng with 3 in a row. Oh, murderous backhand and the parallel forehand down the line to follow. The combinations, it's like she knows where the ball is going beforehand. Someone sent her an email and said, oh, just be prepared to turn the backhand corner for the forehand because it's happening. She didn't hesitate for a moment.
No, I mean, the speed of the footwork, that was incredible how she ran around with the forehand from the backhand side. And such power on that forehand.
To have the confidence that you have controlled, you've locked in your opponent to the shot that you want, What an amazing ability to have.
Let 4-2.
I didn't see either of them go for a towel on the first towel break, Jill.
No, that's unusual. Mind you, I think they probably will do as the match goes ahead, because it's quite hot under those TV lights.
This was interesting. We've got the change of service placement here. Short to the forehand from the middle of the table. Liu Shiwen fan club. This feels like Liu Shiwen's house. Throughout this tournament, I think she's had more chants and cheers than any of the women. Just amazing. Maybe any of the players, period, actually. Oh, dismissive backhand. Ball sits up a little bit. Chun Meng doesn't have to back off the table. Gets the racket up. Have a chance to see from this angle. That's a very uncomfortable ball for a lot of people.
Yeah, that was quite high, wasn't it?
Yeah, could have hit her in the shoulder.
Took it. She had to take a bat right up to make contact with that.
Oh, break off the net, but good offense from way behind the table. Had to take it from down low. Spinny side and top from Chun Meng.
That was good placement there, that one into the middle. From Liu Shiwen to Chun Meng, but she just touched the net, trickled over.
A little bit quicker point than we're used to seeing, not in terms of speed, but in terms of the amount of shots it takes. For a rally like this, normally the rally's extended, but good acceleration there. I think Liu Shiwen with the soft opening follows up with a quicker one in on the elbow, and it pays off. Changing that rhythm, you know, against most players in the world would end the points much quicker. Both Chun Meng and Liu Shiwen are so good at adapting.
Placement into the crossover, into the middle of the body. Always difficult. I think that's going to be her tactics there, in the body then wide.
Seeing Liu Shiwen play in the mixed doubles event, a world champion with Xu Xin, she did her service after motion. There's the table tennis bracelet of Chun Meng. Wow. Who wants one of those? Me.
It's a table tennis bat, isn't it?
Two of them. I mean, I wouldn't wear it, but it'd be cool to have. I think other people, it'd be cool if somebody marketed that right now. I feel like the sales would go up by about 1,000%.
What, with you wearing it, you mean? Or
no, Chun Meng, me,
right.
no. No, I would do the opposite. It would go down. I don't think there's room for it to go down enough if I wore it. People be like, yeah, you do you, but I don't think that's for me. Chun Meng can sell stuff. She makes money move, I should say. So another towel break without a towel. No sweat, just glistening. Down 4-8 here with the serves on her side, Liu Shiwen. There's the angle. It's been tough to find one out of reach. Again with the support here. I mean, she's got everything going her way despite the fact that she's 2-7 against Chun Meng.
Nice one there, wasn't it?
Her timing is so good. She's just unafraid.
Yeah, I mean, straight off the bounce there, that ball, such power, use of the wrist and elbow. Taking it early.
Yeah, and this is where timing and short strokes really pay off. So there's the soft one, the big counter forehand. But Liu Shiwen is able to redirect with those very minimal strokes from the backhand, find the corners quickly. This is where speed pays off. Malong makes it look incredibly easy, and Chun Meng does too on the first shot. That wide forehand when you've already moved around the corner. She gets back to the backhand corner, slightly uncomfortable shot, and even wider to the forehand. That short stroke is going to be tough. Liu Shiwen's anticipation of her opponent's movement right now seems to be paying off well, recognizing the patterns from the opponent before they come. Now for me, again, I don't like to use the term unforced error because I think this is a credit to Chun Meng, but it wasn't an ideal receive from her. Shallow, yes. High enough for Liu Shiwen to win. Many times Liu Shiwen will win this point, but now it's Chun Meng with 3 game points to take the first. This time gets the same ball, does much better with it out wide to the forehand. It's quite similar. I think the camera must have been on the Chun Meng fan club, or the quieter part of the Liu Shiwen fan club. She read the backspin on that just perfectly. A little bit of frustration face there. Chun Meng in the receive game knows she's going to have to zero in a little bit. Good tricky serves from Liu Shiwen. She makes it very tough. 2 game points left for Chun Meng serves on her side.
She saved one there. Wow, this is getting exciting.
A little reminder, no coaches in the corners for either of these players as they are both representing the Chinese national team, representing China. With the serve on her side, Chun Meng really looking to capitalize here, and Liu Shiwen, the top of the screen on the receive, trying to send this to deuce. But a tight underspin serve, that pendulum serve shallow to the backhand, seals the deal. Chun Meng takes game number 1 and will be back for game number 2 of the women's singles final coming up right after this.
Second game. Change to serve. Love all.
Players back for game number 2. Liu Shiwen, by the narrowest of margins, just 2 points, loses game number 1. Just a quick moment to replay her tactics in her head, get focused. Now, this is not where Liu Shiwen wants to be. As a small player who's known for her speed, on top of the table she's dangerous, but when she gets back there, it just quickly, her value depreciates.
Yeah, because she likes taking the ball very early, backhand and forehand. And she's out of her comfort zone if she takes a step back. But both these players playing very similar tactics, keeping it tight, playing the angles into the body.
It's one of the many things I love about table tennis, that many different body types can be playing out here. And as a smaller player, she's definitely set up a game around her physicality. Deng Yakping, maybe the greatest table tennis player on the women's side in the history of table tennis. 7.5 years at world number 1.
Well, that's a fantastic feat, that. She came to England to study at Nottingham University, got a master's degree.
Played with Benedict Cumberbatch, right?
Certainly did.
You saw that video?
No, but I
Okay.
heard about it.
Awesome. That's a start. That counts. That counts. Hearing about it, it's at least 50%. So here we go. Not a point yet for Liu Shiwen. This is the type of setup she wants. She's tried out the very first point of the match. She played soft, got driven behind the table, trying to wait for the opening. It was a soft push and then a long push, but here, right into the rally, ending it quickly. A long serve will do that, opens the rally quickly.
That's good placement there in the backhand. Very spinny, quick on the diagonal. Finishing off with a one down the line.
Regardless of the overall outcome of this match, I think the foreshadowing here of that chole, look at the vein in her neck. I mean, she is fired up. It's game number 2, and she understands the importance. And I think it's only going to get louder and louder the closer the match gets. Clever play on the parallel. A few in a row here from Chun Meng to keep Liu Shiwen behind the table. So uncomfortable to play with the wrist like that, with the ball out in front of you. But Chun Meng finds a way, stares down the opponent, wants to make sure it landed. Looks over at Liu Shiwen, says, just with her eyes, I'm ready. I came here and I mean business. It's interesting, the dynamic of being teammates. I mean, these people sacrifice their lives socially and in almost all ways to be the best players in the world. And they're like sisters, despite being from different generations. They spend a lot of time with each other, but they both want this title quite badly and know what it can mean for their careers.
Yes, and when you're with each other in the training hall and outside, you've got to be able to get on.
Sometimes I think the fans are actually more intense towards each other than the players. The fan clubs are very, very devoted. Again, the Zhu Yuling Liu Shiwen situation at the Women's World Cup got fiery online, which is basically like real life now. Nice parallel opener here. Catches Chun Meng a step behind, just a little bit late to get to it. What's that, Jill?
I love seeing all the fans with the little banners with their players' names on it.
Absolutely. It was Xu Xin who said, we see you. We see the names on the banners, so fans, you have not gone unnoticed, nor unappreciated. Cool wristband there from Chun Meng.
Oh, that was a nice ball. Took that initiative. Good serve, followed it up. That strong forehand. You see the power and the movement of the legs and the body. She went to take that forehand on the backhand side.
Yeah, a lot of twist at the waist there. I think she recognized quite early that this was going to be an attackable ball, which is why she could take it right off the bounce. Or at least on the uprise, I would say, What I was thinking was Liu Shiwen has, I'd say, a monopoly of the fans here right now, the majority anyway. And in a few years, I think the Chun Meng fan club will make itself more present, more well-known. That's the name. Liu Shiwen making her campaign here. She's up by 2 over Chun Meng. The towel's starting to get used now. Have you heard one chant for Chun Meng? I haven't.
No, I haven't either.
And people love her. I mean, she's incredibly lovable. Around the world, people constantly tell me, men, women, boys, girls, she's adorable. She's adorkable is the term she used.
But then when you think Liu Shiwen, you know, she was ranked #1 in 2010, so She's probably got fans from 9 years ago.
Right, the fan club definitely, the starting, it takes time. It takes time to build these fan clubs for fans to organize, gather and say, oh, we both love the same player. Let's make something for people like us to join in so that we can cover our faces with their names and banners at tournaments.
Yeah, well, Chun Mung, I mean, she's ranked 3 in the world now, but she has been 1, but that was in 2018.
Not so long ago, spent half of last year nearly at world number 1.
8, 6.
I want to say she spent 5 of the first 6 months, if I remember correctly, of 2018 as world number 1. Well, the atmosphere, Guy and I talked about it a little bit. Just incredible, not only from the fans, but the production value as well. I mean, the shot that we're looking at, 17 cameras. Shovel serve stays tight. Fired up from early on. I think for the rest of the match, the flames will not be calmed. Trying to read one of the banners.
Yeah, I didn't know whose banner that was.
Lucia one. I saw a lot of Lucia one on screen, assuming we were looking at the same banners. I haven't seen a Chun Mung banner yet. Maybe our camera person can find one.
10.
No, no, no. All Lucia one.
Because the other banner I saw was a completely different color.
Yeah, she's got a lot of fan clubs, different designs, different printing. Yeah, more of the maroon burgundy type. 4 game points now for the lady with the fans, Lucia one.
Seven, 10.
Now I want to come back to the compression shorts conversation in a minute because Chun Mung not wearing them, which is surprising, at least considering she had her injury. You know, I mean, that's where you'd think you'd see more compression shorts, but I think instead she just built up stronger muscle to prevent the injuries in the future. 1 game point saved, 3 to go for Lucia one. Ooh, break off the net, a little fortune, puts the hand up to acknowledge the fortune, but it is tied up at 1 game apiece. The women's singles battle continues and the plot thickens. We'll see who takes the lead. Game number 3 coming up right after this.
Third game. You to serve. Abul.
And we are back for game number 3 here. Lucia one tied up, 1 game apiece. Serves on her side. Jill, tough to predict this one.
It is. I thought she stepped up a gear, Lucia Wen, in that second game. Playing a little bit more aggressive.
That one save on the wide forehand from me. I feel like the moment was when Lucia one just blasted it out to the forehand side. Your heartbeat starts to speed up a little bit. You feel like, oh, that was the one that won it. But by the time your heartbeat's sped up, Chun Mung's already got the ball back in play to save the point. Faster than a heartbeat, these players.
Love.
Having not lost to Lucia one since 2013, makes quite a statement, but I think everything changes when your eyes get really hungry and you realize I have so many Women's World Cup titles, but not a world championship yet. At 28 years old, that's retirement time for Li Xiaoxia. Chinese women's team, we don't get too much older than 28.
As you say, winning the Women's World Cup is no mean feat, but with her winning it 4 times. And, you know, the Olympics and World Championships have eluded her so far, but we shall see what happens.
Yeah, with Tokyo 2020, I've been saying for a long time, I don't expect to see Liu Shiwen playing the singles. If she could secure this title and have a really good year, you never know. Coaches could rethink things. After all, she is a senior member of the team. She might not have another chance, but I think it's more about what will secure the medal rather than being simply kind or diplomatic to the players. It's about doing your job and doing it well. For the coaches, really, the selection team. Beautiful parallel backhand, short strokes, Jill.
Certainly was. That was a beautiful shot there. You can see how short the stroke is. But she gets so much power.
Right. Having developed that skills the top Chinese players do. You and I talked about the difference in the men's and women's game, how it's more backhand-centric because it's about speed, and it's a more efficient stroke.
Wow.
Just incredible. I mean, you can't help but throw your hands in the air. I'm looking like part of the Liu Shiwen fan club here with the hands in the air here. Punching all around, quick shots. She had a few forehands in this rally. This is real time, by the way. That's unbelievable how fast her hands are moving. I mean, the racket speed in that overhead shot really made it clear. It looked spastic almost, but she made every single shot to win the point just perfectly. Yes, I said spastic. That's how fast it was. I mean, if you saw a human being doing that off the court, you'd call the police. I would. 4-2 for Chun Meng.
4-3.
I wonder how much it factors in. I feel like the players are good at finding their zen zone here, not letting the fans bother them too much when they realize they're playing against essentially home court advantage here for Liu Shiwen. I mean, Chun Meng, very focused. Again, I haven't seen a poster nor heard a chant, Jiao Chun Meng. 1 point in the lead here, second serve.
3-5.
And this is something we saw the Queen of Hearts, Ding Ning, doing very effectively throughout this tournament, despite Liu Shiwen just steamrolling through in the last 2 games. Heavy pushes. Sometimes if you can make it subtle, just that little bit of extra spin to deter the attack.
And just, you know, changing pace, spin, direction. It's all important.
That's a good point. Keep it unpredictable.
3-5.
I often call it a catch me if you can game. Once you think you've got my plan figured out, I've already moved on to the next.
Lovely spin up there. Took it a little bit later. An awful lot of top spin on that backhand.
Yeah, rarely do we see Chun Meng having trouble controlling a ball near the table that she has time for. So Liu Shiwen, good variation again. Oh, what a counter. Comes in fast and spinny, but the wider angle was available. Is not anymore. Liu Shiwen took it. Very spinny backhand, and the forehand barely pulls back the racket at all. Show to the lay.
Yeah, she loved that one, didn't she? That was a real fist pump.
Again, lost game number 1, Liu Shiwen, 11-9. Wins the next one 11-7. So coming into the third game, outscoring her opponent by 2 points, 20-18. I wonder sometimes, and often think about pressure factoring in when I think about younger players. Typically, we see the more experienced player knowing how to handle the pressure, seize opportunities. I mean, this is what Ling Gaoyuan has suffered from a bit over the years, is developing in. think Timo Boll, Shushin generally, with nerves of steel.
Oh, beauty.
Ball.
I mean, you can't get wider than that back-to-back on shots. Deep to the backhand. From the middle, covers with the forehand. Chun Meng, the balance, you know, I've watched a lot of videos of the Chinese national women's team working out, from weightlifting to elastic bands and the different things that they do. And their balance and their speed is uncanny. Creates these opportunities to play forehands from shots that many would prefer a backhand block. I mean, Ma Long does this as well, but just a level above in speed and physical fitness.
Oh, that was a nice slower backhand into the body. As you say, you don't always have to hit the ball hard to win a point. It's the subtleties that win points as well.
I still just can't believe how much this feels like we're playing in the Liu Shiwen Stadium here. Everywhere you look, Liu Shiwen fan club. Corner to corner, again, these wide angles. Now, again, in terms of physicality, you play to your strengths, knowing your physicality, so Liu Shiwen stays close to the table. But Chun Meng also does what she should to find the weaknesses of the opponent, which is if you play it fast and wide quickly, she doesn't have the wingspan. Just get her a step behind the table if you can, find a slightly more passive backhand shot from deep, and then come back the opposite way quickly. But as you mentioned, changing patterns, I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 fast ones to the backhand in a rally now if we get there. Let's service, says Liu Shiwen. Does Chun Meng agree? She does.
7 all.
Very cool. That happened really quickly. You couldn't see any vibration from the net there in the replay. Sometimes it's so faint, doesn't appear to shake the net. So good on Chun Meng for that. This one just barely misses the edge here. And that's the banner you were looking at.
I can see her name now.
This one looked like it was a little bit out in front of Chun Meng and just had her feet planted a bit when she tried to play down the line rather than get forward. Sort of the balls of the feet lean into it. So Liu Shiwen back in front here. He's been chasing most of the game.
9, 7.
2 slowy ones put in. Change of pace.
Look at the stands here, all the way to the back. Seen a lot of the Liu Shiwen fan club around the world, some familiar faces in the crowd when you can see their faces. I mean, there was so much power on the second to last backhand. Ball comes back a little high, and Chun Meng, I think, just wanted to kill the ball so hard that it's easy to do too much with it. I mean, we've seen this against choppers. I think you've probably seen it many times where people miss the ball trying to overpower a high one, Jill.
Yes, yeah, especially no spin on the ball.
Right.
They don't hit it down enough.
3 game points here for Liu Shiwen. Oh, and merciless counters back to the short side backhand and then finishes with the wide angle. What a comeback here in the game, chasing, but when it came to the crucial moments, Liu Shiwen has her fist up in celebration. A 2-1 lead now for Liu Shiwen, looking to take her first World Championship. Game number 4 coming up right after this. Players back for game number 4. Chun Mung getting called by the umpire. It seemed like she was asked to move the free arm on the serve. As Guy said earlier, the umpires have been very good about communicating with the players here to not penalize if they don't have to, not take points or give cards.
Love.
Oh, I think it's been quite free-flowing, hasn't it, the game? There hasn't been interrupted at all by the umpires and taking points, as you say.
Yeah, not recently, not in the later matches. There were a few intense moments earlier in the tournament, but I think it's been relatively smooth and free-flowing, as you said.
Oh, wow. What a combination there. That rally, backhand and forehand, had it all.
Yeah, I mean, they are so speedy. Again, tested on the length, and Liu Shiwen covers here just out of reach. This is sort of a baity play, you know, putting the bait on the end of the hook there, getting her wide out to the forehand. Liu Shiwen's steps are faster, and her timing, if she can stay on top of the table, is going to send Chun Mung on the run.
1, 2.
This one gets away from Liu Shiwen, had her choices. From that height, I feel like she could have picked even the short side, usually would make it, staying positive there, shaking her head. We see this with the Japanese women a lot, even after losing a point. Positive head nods, coming into the next point, feeling prepared and confident.
2 all.
You know, one thing that I've never seen that I can say that, Jill, you've never seen and nobody has ever seen is what it would be like, or what it will be like in theory, when Liu Shiwen wins a world championship in singles. Just thinking about it, how fired up she is, I don't know what we'll see. Still too close to call and too early.
Is, yeah, 2-1. I'm sure our fans will be pleased.
3.
She was
If
up.
it does happen, but
Right. Yeah, no, she was up 3-2 against Zhu Yuling at the Women's World Cup. She was up 2-0 in Game 7 against Ding Ning in 2015. I mean, a comeback is never out of question here, especially when you're dealing with world number 3, Chun Mung, who was world number 1 for the first half nearly of last year. And in the lead, nonetheless, second serve. Over the table to get that full extension forehand. Man, here's another food reference, the hungry commentator. Hungry and hungry. But over the table, much like Ma Long, is able to take it quite early. This one, just inside the baseline, perfectly to the corner. Yeah, I understand, Liu Shiwen. Looking at it like, wow, there's still table there? Chun Mung, how'd you find that? Quite close to coming down for a break off the edge. So in terms of sides favoring a player, there hasn't seemed to have been any consistency there. Liu Shiwen taking the last game. You know what? I wrote it down wrong. There is a favorite side. Liu Shiwen actually wins games 1 and 3. No, I got it backwards. Never mind. She wins 2 in a row. Okay. Just having a conversation with myself here. That's it. Liu Shiwen. Okay. I wrote it down completely backwards. Loses game 1, 11-9. Wins 2 and 3.
6, 2.
The mystery has been solved. I'll let you do some talking now, Jill.
Chun Mung now serving 6-2 up in this 4th game. Oh, a little bit of short touch play to start off. But we'll soon get into the fast and furious backhands and forehands that we see so often. I'm just amazed how table tennis has changed over the last few years and how quick and early they actually take the ball, especially the women's side, the women's table tennis. You know, they take it so much earlier than they did years ago.
And why do you think that is?
I just think the women play a lot closer to the table, and I think as table tennis has evolved, I mean, when you think 30 years ago, they used to step away from the table and it was all about spin, whereas now the women's game is about speed.
I think that's a good thing. I think the higher the level of physicality, the more developed and fast the players become, the more it raises the bar and just forces jaw-dropping shots. The standard is so high now, as you mentioned, especially with the top Chinese players.
7-5.
And we have the fans still shouting for them. I've got a friend in England who's just had surgery. Simon, I know he's been watching all the table tennis from his hospital bed, so speedy recovery to you.
Shout out to Simon. Hope you're feeling better and enjoying. But it's tough not to enjoy such a tight match here between two of the best women. Chun Meng with the serves back on her side, leading 7-5.
7, 6.
The timeout here. So the timeouts tend to come a little bit later. I think this is an interesting timeout. Chun Meng. So they have it 7-6 there. 1 point game. Chun Meng had a bit of a lead, 7-4, loses 2 points in a row.
Yep.
And it could be a nerve thing from a timing standpoint. That last ball, I felt like she set it up well. Sometimes having a little banana, in the literal banana sense, not the backhand receive sense. Some potassium, just a little bit of sugar, something to get you going. Sort of take you back out. Were you looking at her nails, Jill?
No, I was just looking what blade she was using.
I think it's the Viscaria. Isn't that shot the color of the racket? You know, that's something Zhang Jike actually made that quite popular. Since then, we've seen, I think, between the Ma Long blade and the Viscaria, these are two quite common blades. Yep, on the necklace as well. Jill pointed it out. Necklace and bracelet, a matching set. That's so cool. I know Bernie Such has the earrings.
Although this tournament, I didn't see them wear it. She had, because I was going to make a comment about earrings, but they weren't. They were like dangling ones.
Interesting. She also has the dangling 3 rackets.
Yes, yes.
So
7,
I'm curious to see what changes here from Chun Meng. Maybe it's just a breath of fresh air coming back to stay loose. Sometimes the tension tightens up the muscles. And in terms of muscle memory, it's quite important to stay loose, because if you're slowed down, it changes everything. You can miss a shot like we saw in the last point. Edge of the table here, but still an outstanding shot. I mean, it wasn't the faintest of edges. It was a clean cross-court shot that just happened to clip a little bit. Would the rally have continued? The world will never know. So back out in front by 2 points. Crucial game here. If Chun Meng secures it, she has momentum and it's tied up. Otherwise, she's down 1-3. All that power from Chun Meng, and on top of the bounce, Liu Shiwen is there, but that wide backhand just misses. I feel like it's tough to slow down once the rally gets open, and it's coming in that fast. It's just a question of short strokes, placement, depth on the table. Changing it up on the serve, moving central here. Liu Shiwen with her shovel serve gets ready. Nice change of pace, this time in control. Keeps it a little bit slower, waiting for that big first shot. This is something that Ma Long has done so effectively throughout his career. And especially in the last few years, wait for the opponent to go big, and while they're recovering from the stroke, take advantage by placing it back out of position or keeping it wide, potentially catching their, the opponent out of position. 2 point differential here. Chun Meng in front with the serves on her side. off the top of the net, but again, luck favoring the bold here. Chun Mung stepping way around for that forehand. What are you thinking, Jill?
Well, I think she took that timeout and it's worked in her favour. I think she just stopped the momentum of Liu Xuan with those 2 points. And now she's 3 game points up now in this 4th game.
11.
Good touch
7.
inside the table. And what might have been nervy play before came back to haunt the opponent. Chun Mung, loose and cool. As you mentioned, the timeout paid off. Everything changed since then. 11-7. Chun Mung has tied it up at 2 games apiece. The plot continues to thicken. Women's singles championship match, game number 5, coming up right after this.
Again, beauty serve, love all.
So back for game number 5. Chun Mung tying it up. 2 games apiece. Liu Xuan moving over a bit to change up the geometry of the points.
1, love.
Who has a player who's quick on the backhand and has the shorter wingspan. Serving from the middle can be quite effective, but it will put her in a position to play the backhand a little bit more. Chun Mung trying to stay loose through the shoulders. It's very natural to get forward in table tennis.
Love. 2.
In terms of posture, you know, I wear a posture corrector, and I see a lot of players doing all sorts of stretches to build up the muscles on the back of the shoulders because we are so forward and in, as you can see here, that concaved posture.
Love. 3.
Liu Xuan, having not dropped a point yet, converted both of her serves, handled the long, fast one there. Chun Mung trying to play the bold one to get into the rally quickly. Didn't earn the 3rd ball she wanted. So much thinking going on there right now.
Let. Love.
I wonder if Liu
3.
Xuan's chewing gum. It looks like she's chewing on something. I don't know if that's to calm her under pressure. I'm curious what it is.
4.
Got off to a good start here. Fans pleased with the start of this 5th game.
That cover of the backhand, again, she's been quite dependable. As long as she's in position, well centered on the table, she can cover the corners. It's going to have to exit the side to get past her.
5. Love.
It's a tough time not to have a timeout. I don't think we'd see it at this moment. The guys in the back were like, we just became part of the Liu Xuan fan club. They might be the presidents of the Chun Mung fan club, who knows? Flawless start here from Liu Xuan.
Oh, nice placement there into the body.
It's interesting how different shots create different, I'd say, pressure on the players. Because in terms of nerves, it didn't seem that Chun Meng was too nervy. It's 7-4 to 7-6 when the timeout came up. Yes, there were a few points there. It seemed like she was able to turn things around. She doesn't have that luxury now.
Love. 7.
Now it was game number 5 that was the 11-0 victory over Ding Ning. It's still a ways to go for an 11-0 victory, but it's the final. There will be no mercy. The streak continues. Good time to be part of the Liu Shiwen fan club. The fingernails of Liu Shiwen prepare for a 9th point. Wow.
Love.
Jill, I didn't expect it. I mean, I knew it was possible, but Chun Meng just seems out of sorts right now. Liu Shiwen just has everything working right now in the tight game. She hasn't had to pull out spectacular shots yet, not in game 5.
No, with being so many points down, it's under pressure.
Here it is.
Yep.
Now again, as she was interviewed, there is no rule saying that a mercy point is necessary. And it shows a sign of respect as well to the opponent that you take them seriously as a threat from even 0-10 down. So you could go either way here. But I think no mercy.
No mercy.
And she does it, 11-0 for a 3-2 lead. Deja vu, Liu Shiwen means business. Absolute decimation out here. 11-0 to take the 3-2 lead. And she's right. You can't be too generous. You can't know what's happening. Chun Meng came back to win last game after what could have been a 3-1 lead. I mean, really strong performance here. The mental game of Liu Shiwen showing strong. That has been the biggest question, and there it is in slow motion. A bagel, a donut, 11-0 against world rank number 3. Stick around, game number 6 could be the last, and it's coming up right after this.
Next again. Jen to serve. Labun.
So back for game number 6. Chun Meng clearing the table of any dust, any rubber particles, or anything that might affect the bounce of the ball on her side. That's all she really has to worry about in terms of fair bounces. If it happens on Liu Shiwen's side, it should be to Chun Meng's advantage. So since the start of game 5, we haven't seen a point from Chun Meng. It's 12 in a row, at least for Liu Shiwen. Well, I guess with Chun Meng winning game number 4, it would be exactly 12 in a row for Liu Shiwen right now, as the last point of game 4 was Chun Meng's. Oh, double happiness, top of the net and the edge of the table. Table sponsor. And the description of what happened on this last point can't get too much more fortune than that in one shot. Acknowledgement of such fortune from Liu Shiwen.
Oh, good serve, that shovel serve. Third ball into the body.
Jill, the only point I've seen in the last 15 points that felt anything like Chun Mung's game in general, regardless of the outcome, was game point in the last game. We saw some big attacks. She seemed free, fluid, comfortable. Liu Shiwen just played some incredible shots back. First human moment from Liu Shiwen in a moment. I mean, in a long time, that's the first point out of the last 15 that Chun Mung has won. Far from irrecoverable, though. Just 2 points down. Liu Shiwen was up 3-2 at the Women's World Cup, which would have been her 5th title in 2017. Zhu Yuling managed to pull it out from down 2-3. It's amazing how Liu Shiwen is able to move back into the table. I was gonna say these are some of the longest strokes we've seen from them. Chun Mung behind the table, yes, but Liu Shiwen started to back off for a moment, recognized it, came right back home to the back of the table. Took the angle, back in front by 3. And we were talking about the rackets earlier. I said I thought Viscaria, we do see some certain players get custom-made blades, so they don't have the little logos on the front. Made to their liking. Outright service point. Now again on the pendulum serve, whether it's heavy underspin, mostly side spin, as long as it's deceptive, you can get these receives back. Sort of earn the opening attack or get a shot back into the net. Have a look at it here. Good after motion. So I'm gonna go light underspin, heavy side. Tough that you couldn't really see the contact there. That's the thing.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of the deception of these players. They can put various spins on the ball.
Now, Liu Shiwen legally has to be able to see. We've got tears flowing almost in the crowd. Liu Shiwen is in no mode to celebrate just yet. She's still very much in focused mode. Job is far from over. Just a 3-point lead here. And a 3-2 lead in games. Now, hypothetically, if you're Chun Mung, think about what a shame it would be to have almost an 80% winning record against somebody, making it to the final, your first time, and having one of your 3 career losses out of 10 matches at the biggest title match. But it's also understandable, right? It changes everything. The stakes are high.
Yeah, but that's table tennis. Sometimes you have a player you beat most of the time, but you do lose to them.
Incredible points. Again, Liu Shiwen finds herself pushed back off the table, but it doesn't slow her down at all. She manages to come back in, covering the backhand. Forehand to forehand rally, not a bad idea for Chun Mung. She's just not able to get any, I'd say, space, any advantage playing into that backhand right now. It was Chun Mung who decided to move to the backhand side. I don't think that's a bad decision in general, but eventually the statistics start to support that maybe it's not the best fight to pick. Becoming a bit more of a reality now. The fight is still there. The hunger for every single point. Watch the way she follows off right off the net. Liu Shiwen right there just in case. We've seen players think a point is over, start to celebrate early, lose 1 point, and they don't sleep that night because they end up losing the match.
Play there. Did something slightly different. Slow spinny backhand. Generate a lot of spin on that stroke.
And it was also very shallow on the table, which makes it quite uncomfortable for Chun Mung to counter. It breaks the rhythm. I've seen a 9-2 comeback, so still chances here for Chun Mung.
Late.
And by I've seen a 9-2 comeback, I mean in this tournament.
Four,
Little bit of A little bit of momentum here. 1 point could feed the confidence, fuel, I'd say, what Chun Meng needs right now. 8-3 sounds so dominant. 8-4. I mean, the men's doubles semifinal yesterday, Portugal had 8-4, and the Spanish-Romanian combination pulled through, so no lead safe. That's why at 10-0 she plays for the point, Liu Shiwen.
Five, 8.
I'm looking down just to make sure. Yeah, Liu Shiwen used her timeout. I think so, yeah, she hasn't?
No,
There it is, perfect. It was Chun Meng who used it. At that moment, I was thinking to myself, it'd be really nice to have a timeout right now. And Liu Shiwen said, it's really nice to have a timeout right now. So she takes the timeout. She's still up by 3. If she loses this game, she has the 7th still. But I don't think the brain is going to even utter that thought for a moment. Can you imagine that mentality in this moment? Well, it's okay. I've still got game 7, whatever.
No, I'm just watching her there, taking the time out, and there she is. Shadow playing, talking to herself. She'll be reinforcing her tactics. As I'm sure Chun Meng was doing exactly the same thing herself. There's the blade.
There's the look at the blade. I didn't see the Viscaria logo on the top, and I think I've seen both sides of the racket now, so could be accustomed. The ironic smile here, blowing off some steam, letting out, exhaling stress, cooling the hand. So many different ways that breath can tell you what a player's doing. And out of this timeout, I'm quite curious. Again, Liu Shiwen has played some fast backhands very effectively. Very important receive here. If Chun Meng converts this point, she's only down by 2. Big shot, the wide angle with the quick backhand. That's what it is for me. The backhand fight. When Liu Shiwen plays the angles, this is what she does best. So instead of 8-6, it is 9-5. Back up by 4. And only 2 points away from her first ever world championship title in women's singles. Setting up the shovel serve from the middle. Wow.
The right one to do. Just clip the top of the net.
Very heavy spin push there, digging in on contact. If you can't play aggressively, you can definitely change the pace, vary the spin. It's one of the beauties of table tennis, so many different options in every given moment, or any given moment for that matter. Absolutely insane! Oh man, she covered the middle time and time again. Both of these players have their foot completely pressed down, pedal to the metal, with Liu Shiwen behind the table, rocket speed. It is not sped up. You're watching this in real time. I mean, to be tested that hard, Chun Meng, and come out victoriously. Scoreboard, that brings it to a 2-point game. If she converts both of these serves, she's tied up at 9 each. The test under pressure right now for the biggest match of her life on both sides, I'd say, in this moment.
Oh!
They just keep getting better. I mean, you watch these points, I don't know if you feel me on this, but I'm like, Liu Shiwen's won it. Oh, that's it, Liu Shiwen won it. And Chun Meng saves it. I mean, sometimes hitting rock bottom gives you a sense of clarity. When your back is against the ropes, you become brave. You become fearless in this laser-like focus that we see from Chun Meng in the last 2 points. Jaw-dropping level of play.
I think she's hit the ball so hard and fast. Liu Shiwen has taken a step back from the table.
Let. 8,
Ooh,
9.
tension just like there is in the net. the edge of the racket. Huge point here. Liu Shiwen with 2 championship points. I was just thinking to myself, Jill, with the Liu Shiwen fan club here, there would be more tears than I think we've ever seen in the stadium if Liu Shiwen lost this in the 7th. And the next point, that point right there, was absolutely crucial. Job still not done, though. You can see the fierceness behind the eyes right now, the determination. At 8-3, we were talking about no safe lead. 8-4, no safe lead. 9-8 now to 10-8. 2 game, match, and championship points for history to be made for Liu Shiwen. Wow. Wow. Jill had her hands up. She thought it was over, almost ready to jump. It looked like the title was claimed. The softer rally, Liu Shiwen starting spinny and soft, waiting for the big moment. Chun Meng never gave her the right opportunity. 1 championship point saved, 1 to go. Shiwen takes it, a crushing forehand. I cannot believe what she's done. The tears have started to flow as wide as can be. A job well done. It took so much focus. And finally, a 4-time Women's World Cup champion has become the world champion at 28 years old for the first time in her life. This could have been the last opportunity, and she has capitalized on it. Tears of joy from Liu Shiwen. I just imagine that she is absolutely out of sorts right now. What can you possibly be thinking? Look at the tears flow. Wow, an emotional victory. And for the career that she has had, to be as good at table tennis as Liu Shiwen is, and have never before taken this title, this is really something, Jill.
Well, she's really emotional. I feel a bit emotional because, you know, she's been in 2 world finals. She's never had a major.
The biggest title outside of the Olympic Games. Again, a last chance seems likely here. But in a moment, just a moment, the racket has dropped to the floor, and the hands as high as can possibly be from this small human body of Liu Shiwen, the champion of 2019 in women's singles. What a dramatic performance, Jill. Wow.
It was absolutely fantastic.
A valiant effort from Chun Meng, but a well-deserved victory here from Liu Shiwen. Balling in every sense, on the table, into the towel. I don't think she's gonna be ready for an interview anytime soon. 11-0 in the 5th and 11-9 in the 6th. I mean, had she not won this match, she would have had an amazing career, no questions about it, but it wouldn't have been complete.
No, exactly. I mean, you know, you just wanted her to actually win.
And I think, you know, to quote Jerry Maguire here, if Liu Shiwen could talk to this title, she would say, "You complete me." And maybe this will earn her a chance for Tokyo 2020. But the flag flying high and the banners even higher from the massive fan club that she has earned throughout her career.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our champion for women's singles, Liu Shiwen.
And there she stands, the woman who has created so much buzz, so much atmosphere in the arena. Just an entire stadium of thrills right now.
This is your 3rd time into the final in World Championships, and you've been waiting for this championship for so long, and now your dream comes true. How do you feel at the moment? 恭喜你获得了冠军，这是你第3次进入世乒赛的决赛，今天你终于圆梦了，你现在心情怎么样？
Speechless indeed.
确实非常激动。对，这是我第6次的世界锦标赛之旅，然后也是第3次进入决赛。我觉得这次如果我再不赢，我真的没机会拿冠军了。对，然后但是我相信，我觉得我自己值得这个冠军，只是它来的稍微晚了一点点。对。
So I'm very excited. This is my 6th time for the World Championships and the 3rd time into the final. I've been waiting for this for a long time. And for me, I think if I couldn't win this title, there would be no opportunity for me in the future. But I deserve this title. It's just it comes a little bit late. So now you got 2 titles in this World Championship. How you are going to celebrate it? 你获得了混双的冠军、女单的冠军，你会如何庆祝呢？
我觉得有点像做梦一样。对，然后但是我觉得，首先还是要感谢我们这个团队。我觉得，没有大家对我的帮助，我不可能坚持到今天。对，然后我在来之前的国内选拔赛也是打了第5名，然后我也感谢我们的领导刘主席能够给我这次参赛的机会，然后我也把握住它了，非常感谢。
So I'm still feeling I'm dreaming, but first of all, I would like to thank my teams. Without their help and support, I couldn't be here, especially President Liu. With his support and the chance he gave to me, and I see the opportunity because I was the 5th in the national election, Marvelous 12. So I feel pretty glad that I see the opportunity. Any words you want to say to your fans because they are following everywhere, giving you support? 对你的球迷有什么想说的吗？
我觉得非常感动吧。对，我觉得无论是我在低谷还是输球的时候，他们都能一如既往的支持我。非常感谢这么多人对我的鼓励吧。但因为之前真的有想过想放弃，我觉得可能拿不了冠军了。对，但是我觉得能够坚持到今天，确实离不开大家的鼓励。谢谢大家，我会继续努力。
So thank you for my fans for your supporting me for all the time. Sometimes I was down, but with your help, I can keep going on because I thought about giving up, but you encouraged me all the time and support me. Thank you. 谢谢。
Wow, well, there you have it. The number 5 out of the Marvelous 12, 1 spot away from not being able to play this tournament. It could have been Zhu Yuling. It could have been someone else. She almost wasn't even here in this event, and she won the title at her last opportunity. The best opportunity, despite having several others before. Spectacular play. And just to remind you, the fans, that the players, when they feel like giving up, really do take it to heart. You inspire them, you fill them, you are the wind beneath their wings. Congratulations, Liu Shiwen, on this amazing performance to take the title for your very first time at 28 years old. Enjoy the highlights and stick around. We've got an awards ceremony to follow.